Hello everyone and welcome to a quick look at a game which is called Sky Nations, which I was lucky enough to receive a code to mess around with for a while. So first and foremost, I would like to jump into this by saying that I know just looking at this there are probably a subset of people out there who are going to jump to the assumption that this is a Minecraft clone. While there are definitely some similarities in terms of different little things, the main purpose of the gameplay and the gameplay itself is very much different than the actual than Minecraft. So don't just be quick to dismiss it as a Minecraft clone, because that is horribly underestimating what this game is. So what is this game is then the logical question to follow. This is a game in which you build airships and use them to interact with other players. You have you have four different tools at your disposal. Your mallet, which can be used to destroy things, which you can use to gain resources. Your hammer, which you can use to repair from using the mallet for most resources to make them fully functional. The blowtorch repairs metal, and the wrench repairs machinery. So all of those are important when it comes to making sure that your ship stays functional after, let's say, a cannon attack. So we are just going to real quick make the most basic ship I can think of. We're going to go with a 3x3 brick box here. And put that on there. And then we are going to come down here. I do not currently have an energy well, which you need. So let's go into the crafting table real quick, which is going to, there we go, which is going to pull up here showing you everything that you can make given the materials you have in your control. We are going to be making one energy well, which is going to allow us to make a ship that will actually lift off. So let's exit that. Let us break down our bench so we can keep it with us. It makes it much easier to use when you already have one. There we go. And then we are going to come down here to find our energy well, which is now stored in our inventory. Right here. We're going to jump up here. We're going to put this right on the back, and then we're going to right click to activate it, which is going to cause it to lift off and kind of become a replica of what I just built up on the top there. So now I do need to break this down. I'm not sure if that is... it should be added actually before I get into this. This is a very, very early alpha build. This is not a final build of the game by any means. So you can definitely expect to find some glitches and everything, some things that aren't finished at all, which is obviously not a problem if you know it's an alpha going in to begin with. Now back to what I was saying, I don't know if it's actually intended that it kind of turns into a replica of your ship up top when you put the energy, when you turn the energy well on. But it's not really a big problem. We're just going to build ourselves a quick little pillar up that we can stand on to jump onto it. And then we can continue our shipbuilding extravaganza, although I just jumped myself off that ledge like an idiot. So let us put this here. We can't jump up there, can we? No. Okay, so we're just going to use one thing of, let's say, sand to give ourselves another path upwards, and then we are going to jump across, and there we go. So now that we're on the ship, we can see the energy, the speed / the max speed, as well as usual, our health. I do believe in this build, the health is not currently an issue, as in you are kind of having as much health as you need, but there are ways that are being implemented to attack other players, as there already are to attack ships. So once you have built a ship, you can take control with the control panel here. All the things I added were thrusters and the control panel to allow it to fly. And now we are able to take off. This is the world's most basic ship. And then you just use W and S to control your speed, and your spacebar and control keys control the height of your flight. So now we're flying at speed 4 out of 4. Of course, I do apologize if there are any frame rate issues in this recording. This is my first time trying to record with Camtasia because OBS was just not cooperating with recording at all. So I'm going to have to take a look and see how this video turns out. And obviously if you're watching this, it turned out well enough for me to post. If not, then it will be never seen any of this commentary anyway. So there's really no need to point that out. But if there are frame rate issues that I decided to go ahead and post, the reason is not the game, it's actually the recording. It's unfortunate, but I have run into that problem a bit, so we will have to see how this turns out for us. So we're just going to come over and let's see, where do we want to go? Let's go actually swing around this way. And we are going to go over here, I think it was, yes, to one of the different types of islands that you can find in the world. The world is pretty much separated into these different island types, which are found throughout the sky. Crap, I think I set my hotkey for Camtasia to control, and now it's not letting me use that to control the ship, which is obviously not a good thing for us. So let us go ahead and come to a stop here. And then I'm going to real quick jump over here, go tools, can't change options. Well, that's not a good thing. There we go. Now I'm going down. So not sure why that wasn't working before. I'm pretty sure that it was a Camtasia issue because it hasn't had that problem for me before. But we are going to lower ourselves down, start picking up some speed to get over to the star. And we probably shouldn't be moving that fast towards it because it's going to be hard to stop. Right now there is no damage from collision when it comes to ships. I guess that is kind of something that is being considered, not necessarily going to be implemented. Because it would allow people to just kind of ruin other people's day by just ramming into them. As it stands, there are cannons you can make if you have iron. There are several different, or there's only the one type at the moment. There are more to be implemented. Same thing, there are going to be more types of thrusters that'll have more power for larger ships, and various other things like that. At the moment, the item set is relatively small, but that does not mean anything in terms of the final version of the game, as there is still plenty to be added. So let's go ahead and pull up to this section here. That should do it right about there. Oop, don't want it to go in reverse. Right click on the control panel to lose control of it. And then we're going to take this guy, which is a spawn stone, set him here so that if and when we die, we will recover right on our ship. And then we're going to jump off onto this ice, which is rather silly, because now, as you can see, now as you can see, we are falling to our death. And you see why I put that spawn stone there. So we fall below the clouds down to the Earth, or whichever planet this may take place on, and we are now back at our spawn block. We are going to climb up this ice mountain a little bit, and then we're going to take our mallet. We're going to collect some ice. Although I already have some, we might as well collect a little bit more. Because if we can collect some more ice, then we can use that to jump. No! Fall to our death. I should also add that I have, obviously, my face cam disabled for this video. With not having really any experience with Camtasia, combined with the recording issues I was having with OBS, I decided it would be wise to turn that off. So what we're going to do with the ice here is kind of create a trap on our ship. There is a control where if you hold shift, you can't be pushed off the edge of the blocks, unless you are on ice, in which case it doesn't work. But that allows you to have an easier time of making little containers like that, because I can just run to the very edge and be as far off the blocks as I can be without falling. It's a nice addition to be sure. we're going to block on ice along the sides here. Oop. Okay, and then we are going to jump up top. We're going to do the same thing along the back if we can. Come on. Right there. No! Now you're blocking my thruster. Bad ice. So a lot of this game does have to do with community interaction. At the moment, I'm just kind of focusing on what I'm doing for the sake of making the recording. But in general, the whole and a big purpose of this game is to interact with the other players on the server. It is multiplayer only. But yeah, you want to interact with the other people on the server so as to create to have battles with your ships if you so choose, and various other options like that. And we will go ahead and make all those blocks there. So now anyone who tries to get on our ship is going to have a very slippery time. So if someone tries to, jump on and steal it, they cannot. Let's take control here and try to go find something else to show off. There are various different island types already implemented. There may be more coming in the future updates. But for the moment, there are just a few versions. Well, more than a few, but less than I would see there possibly being in the long run. These stars made of ice are one of them. They're what are called machine spheres, which are obviously large spheres, which have machine parts in them, including burnt out cores, which are very important to building up new energy wells if you lose yours. I don't know if we could harvest this energy well. Then we want to jump up here. This is going to be rather dangerous trying to do this, because I'm going to have to jump down on my ice block. And then jump. Oh, I landed on it and I fell. We will try this again as soon as we respawn. Curse you, sky! Okay, so now let's try again to jump on top of this energy well, and this time stick our landing. Jump, and oh, there we go. And we cannot harvest this. I know that it was said that they are harvestable, but there is a limit after there is a time limit after certain updates to prevent people from just logging on and immediately being able to steal energy cores from ships that are left behind, because the server is persistent. So just because you're not logged on doesn't mean that your ship or anything disappears. It is actually left out there where other people who are exploring the game can find it while you're offline, which of course has its benefits and its negatives in the sense that you are leaving yourself open to having your ship destroyed while you are not even there to play. But it also means that you can't just create something vastly overpowered and expect to just leave it sitting right at the starting island without anybody taking care of it while you're offline, without anything to hide it while you're offline, which is good because it encourages people to not just leave their ships laying around, but try to find a way to hide them. So now that we got some more ice and we could not harvest those cores, let us take off again. But yeah, I mean, the persistent server idea isn't anything new, so I don't really feel like I have to justify it. But at the same time, it's definitely something that I could see some people complaining about if they built up a big ship and then it was destroyed while they were offline. And obviously that's the big part of this game, is building up new ships to protect your well-being, and in order to be able to fight against opponents, or other players I should say, or anything like that. There are plans for NPCs as well, I feel I should add. Those will be implemented in a later update. But as of right now, the game is, in its current alpha state, relatively basic, but very fun. Don't get me wrong, the fact that it's still in a basic alpha state is not a problem. It is just something that you need to know if you consider buying the game, which obviously I will do my best to make sure people do know. So we can't fit into this little cave that I dug out last time I was playing. That was me who dug that out of there, trying to make a dock for my ship. Although I could have put in a little bit more effort and had no problem fitting it in there. It appears someone else has done something similar over here. There's a little staircase to a little ledge. I have stopped moving momentarily. Someone joined the server and lagged me a little bit. As mentioned, pre-alpha, or not pre-alpha, but early alpha, where glitches are prone to happen. So don't hold that with too much to do. Also, in case anyone was wondering, Poe is in fact Poe who developed Six-Sided Sanctuary, which I played on the channel not long ago. Very fun puzzle game. If you haven't tried it, check it out. In terms of Sky Nations, in terms of its distribution methods, if you didn't, and if you aren't aware, you can get it either on Desura for $5.99, or you can go to the developer's website, which is skynations.net, where you can purchase it from the Humble store for $5. So you can save a little bit by going directly through the Humble store, which I'm sure probably grants a little larger portion to the developer and less of a royalty taken out. I've heard very good things about the Humble store. Or you can go through, if you use Desura and would like to have it kind of conglomerated in there, you can use it on there. So let me see if I can reach anything interesting over here. The world is very big, by the way. Obviously right now our coordinates are 37 something 4191, which is quite a notable size. To get to 0, 0 at our current speed would take quite some time. There is a bit of a learning curve to the game in terms of how to make everything work well, what kind of thrusters are needed for how big of a ship, stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with that. It didn't take me long jumping onto the wiki page for it to figure out the generality of what was going on. So we will land here just to see what's going on. We've got some sand, which can be used to make glass, which is important in making energy wells. And the draw distance is kind of suffering a little bit right now as I am recording. Usually I have a little bit better than that. What is that down there? That looks interesting. Let's go all the way down there and see what that is. So also when you click to jump into controlling the ship, it does kind of pull you to the position you need to be in to pilot it. That is both a positive and a negative in my experience. Sometimes it means that if you don't set up the pieces absolutely correctly right away, then it can be hard to make your ship go like you plan for it to. Which, you know, is not necessarily the best thing to have it be more difficult like that. So I don't remember exactly where that ship was, or whatever that island I saw was. In fact, I'm having some trouble seeing it. Well, we shall move downwards. Maybe it was over by this island? You don't have to hold your control to keep moving forward. It works as a throttle. So once it's throttled up until you throttle down, it is going to keep going at the same speed, which is very nice, makes things a lot easier. I don't see that place I was trying to go. It looked kind of cool from the sky. So we are going to continue dropping downwards as far as we can, which we might be at the bottom. Except I don't think that we are currently moving. Might be another one of the little glitchy moments that come along with an alpha build. Oh no, we're moving. Never mind. I'm a moron. So there is that island over there. Is this what I saw? Was it just an energy core and a bit of an island showing off? It might have been. Let's go. Ooh, there's a tower of... Or no, that's just a tree. That's not a tower. You can fly up here and try to harvest some materials as we go by. No! Ha 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 ha! Destroy the island as we fly underneath it. There we go. Now I feel like a jerk for destroying that island, and we're about to crash, so up we go. So I guess I should also talk about the purpose of this game. This is a sandbox game, so there's not really any direct objective or anything, at least currently. Whether that'll be added come time for the full version or not, I am not positive. But at the moment, this is a sandbox game in its fullest. The point is to explore, find things, create bigger and better ships, and as a whole, just to mess around and have fun with the other players, which is a perfectly legitimate model for a game. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have any iron, or I would make some cannons that we could show off. Um, I'm not sure where to get iron. I've found copper before, but I haven't found any iron. That's stone, that's glass, wood, some sand, some ice, copper. These are burned out cores, which I mentioned used to create certain things. That is a bit of stone, I believe. Let us, oops, plant our, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this. The ship is going to slow down now that we aren't in control. And then what can we, what are these? This is ancient bricks. And then this is, as that, stone, copper. We can make a copper telescope. Let's try that out. We might be able to see some bit in the distance. Provide a ship with a larger pool to store energy, plus 100 energy capacity. That's really cool. So if we got that and we could make some thrusters, we could make a very powerful ship. Unfortunately, I don't have what I need to make thrusters yet, it appears. Let's go ahead and pull out our telescope. Aha! I see long distances. Ooh, what is that? It's the top of a ice sphere, I guess. Let's see now. Let us hop in control of our ship. I wonder if I can use this telescope while I'm controlling the ship. I can. Awesome. So we will. That's the moon over there. Unfortunately, you can't get to the moon at current state, at least. And where are we headed next? Let us drop down so we get probably a little bit better view of what's going on. And let's see now. You can look back at the ground here and be like, what are those leaves doing all the way down there? Somebody probably tried to make a ladder, because you can climb up the leaves by way of holding spacebar, which is obviously a good way to climb up, although you can build a ladder itself as well. And we really don't have a direct purpose on where to go right now. I'm trying to find a machine core, but I don't know if we'll be able to run into one of those at the moment. It took me quite some time to find one last time I played. So, I think this might about do it for this video of Sky Nations, although this game will probably be back. If not immediately, and if not currently in alpha just messing around, it'll definitely be back in the way of, as it progresses and gets further, I will be happy to show off more and more of the game as it proceeds. Hopefully I will have a better recording solution by then, since I'm not sure, if Camtasia is the route that I want to go with or not. It's not a bad program as far as I can tell. I've only barely messed around with it. But it's also something that, seeing as I've used OBS for everything else, I'm not really experienced with it, and I don't know if it's something I want to keep using or if I want to find something else. There is a ship over here in the distance. We could go try to hijack it, or at least steal the thrusters off of it so we can make our ship go super fast. Yeah, let's go do that. Oh, maybe that's not a ship. That's just some bricks. If we can find anything with thrusters on it, we can always harvest those and use that to our advantage in order to move faster. And let's fly over this way. We're going to keep a lookout with our handy dandy telescope. But yeah, if you're into sandbox games, especially ones centered around player interaction and not so much, oh, there's a control deck in there. And some thrusters. Let us be like, yar! We shall be pirates. I do feel like kind of a jerk doing this, but at the moment there is a way to get yourself all the starting items back. So I'm not quite as much of a, oh god, I'm such a jerk moment right now. So let's go here. We do want to kind of mallet our way through some of this stuff. And then we will cease having control. Okay. Whoa! No! But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this game. You know, as I mentioned, it's in alpha state currently, so there's not much to do other than explore and just mess around with the other players. But that is definitely not a bad thing. It's not something that should be counted against the game. To anyone who has ever played an alpha before, if an alpha starts out being fun, even if there's not much to do, in it currently, it also means that it's going to be fun in the long run. So let's just kind of... So with our battery and our energy there, and our couple of extra thrusters there, we can easily do this. We are going to hold shift and plant down a couple pieces of brick on the corners here. Right there. And if we jump up here, right on this corner, which should be about the same, getting it on there. Good. Then we are going to take this mallet, which will be destroying our thrusters, because we want to line these up on the back of the ship now. And we will go, where is my thrusters? Thruster times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do need our battery put in, so let us go ahead and do a little bit of maintenance here. We're going to clear out this block and this block. And then we are going to put our, where is the spawn block here, and our battery here. Oh, that was a burned out core, not a battery, my bad. I'll just try to stay in close enough to this that we will harvest it when it starts to fall. Nope, we failed. Oh well. And then we will grab, where is this battery? Right there. Now, do we have enough energy to run? If we turn on the battery. Maybe. How do we activate that? Actually, no, we don't really want to move that just yet. We want to turn off 2 engines. And then we want to get ourselves over land, because otherwise that battery is going to fall to being destroyed, and that is not good for anyone. I really want to see if I can make this thing start going super quick. Drop down. Stop. No. There we go. And we do appear to be dropped down as much as we can be, so let's jump off control here and finish harvesting our battery. So let's see now. When we... How do we use our battery? Here we stack it on top of there. Ooh, there we go. So now we are up to 200. That worked the same way when I was having it down there and it just wasn't all powered up yet. So it's 68 out of 100. If we put this down at the bottom here, it goes to 75 out of 200. And you know what I could do if I wanted to make this a little bit stronger even, is place down our workbench, open it up, and create another energy well perhaps. And then exit out of here. And maybe place the second energy well right on top here. You cannot place another energy well on this ship. Got it. So that we cannot do. Shall restart that, or fix that even though it wasn't broken. We're going to break down our workbench, and then we are going to activate. Okay, so each thing here takes 30 energy per second to run. So how are we supposed to... like, this is actually the first time I've been absolutely confused in this game. And we have higher energy capacity, but we can't run more than 2 thrusters because otherwise we don't have the energy per second to keep that up. That's why I thought that adding another energy well would help, since the battery seems to provide max energy but not extra energy. Like, it doesn't actually seem to control the thrusters, it seems to just be adding up how much energy you can actually have total, which doesn't seem to help a whole lot. Battery right next to the ship. Still plus 60 a second, and then we turn on 1, turn on 2, we're at 1 per second. They're at 10, which is actually faster than what I'm trying to make here. I'm really not sure how to go about connecting this so that it actually works. Because obviously we've got enough on here to help us. We've got the battery to help us to have more speed. But it's not really doing much for us in the way of the battery. So anyway, with that, once again I'm going to call this video to an end. We will be seeing more of this game for sure at some point along the line. As mentioned, I don't know if it'll be during a later stage of the alpha after some updates, or if it'll be even in this stage just me messing around more. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed the video. This game is very good. Even it's an early stage, it's just fun to mess around and see what you are capable of in the game. So I do recommend it. As mentioned, to pre-order and get into the alpha, it is only $5 on the developer site or $5.99 on Desura. So it's not a very cost-prohibitive venture to get into. And it's just good fun to mess around with the community, see what you can discover, see what you can do. Just build up ships to see how big and massive you can make one that actually runs. So don't get me wrong, it is still not very highly featured in terms of it doesn't have necessarily everything added in. Like, the ship combat is limited to one type of cannons. there aren't currently the guns that you are able to get available, stuff like that. But in general, in terms of actual gameplay, the gameplay is there, it's solid, it's fun, and it is something that I am more than willing to recommend. So with that, have a good one everyone, and I will see you next time.